Hey guys, I'm Ligazitan. Today I just want to show you how to export a functional wheeled vehicle from Blender to Unreal Engine 4, because nowhere on the internet I could find some complex video on how to do this. So when I figured it out, I just thought that I could share it with you to save you some time. So what you're looking at is just factory settings of Blender. So when you first install and run the Blender, this is what you will see. I just added some add-on called screencast so you can see what I'm doing. So basically this is everything doing from the scratch, so you'll see everything I'm doing. So just get rid of these objects in our scene, change the units to metric and change the scale to 0.1. Now you can see that we can't actually see the whole grid, so we have to change the clipping of our view. And this is our scene setup. Now we want to add some reference images. I just opened one. I've downloaded from the blueprints.com. I'll post a link in the description under the video. When you download the image, this is what you see actually. Let me show you. You will download this image, so we have to crop it and make an image of every single one. I will post a link to the description to the site where they explain how to do it properly, because when you import an image to the Blender it will have the same size. It's really just scaling up a little so your car won't look weird. So that's all I just want to say. So let's open the right one. Okay, this is front. Now what I'm doing is just making them bigger so we can see it. Okay, if you can't see the images, it's because you are in perspective view, not in orthographic view, so just press 5 on your numpad so you change to orthographic view. So we can start by creating a plane, rotating 90 degrees, wireframe mode. Okay. I hope you all know the basics of Blender, so I don't have to explain everything, because it's not about modeling or anything like this. It's just if you have your vehicle already modeled and you don't know how to import it to Unreal Engine, because as I said, there is no really complex video on how to do it. I was really like, what the fuck, why this like this? Nowhere on the internet I could find anything really like from the scratch like this, so I decided I just give it a shot. And that's all. Okay, that's not the best. Always try to make quotes in Blender, because otherwise it's really bad. Because Blender doesn't like trees, because it's working with quotes. So that's one thing you should know, I guess. This is what I have to do. Okay, and I'll actually do this. Okay, that's good. It's really like real simple mesh. So we have our 2D mesh. Now we want to make it 3D, obviously, so in edit mode select everything, move it to the side. Actually it's just my way of doing things for this simple thing, like for this simple car. Extrude it and that's it. You have to enable clipping so it won't go to the other side of the mirror. So we can apply it in object mode, and we have our basic mesh all set up. The thing is that when you are actually try to model really nice looking car, you want to do it part by part, not like this in a whole. Like you want to model doors separate and then just join them together, just as we'll do with wheels, just in a second. And okay, Shift D. Nah. Okay, so you see our wheels are actually overlapping a little. Okay, now we want to join them all together to the car body. So just object node, click everything and join, and rename it to car body because I want it to be named like this. Now in edit mode, move it up a little bit. So in Unreal Engine, in what spawn in the middle of the grid, you want the origin to be in the same spot, so you have to move the mesh in edit mode, because even origin of the bones and the mesh must be in the 0, 0, 0 of the grid. So that's all. Now we want to add armature, so object node Shift A, single bone, bone properties, X-ray, axis. Now you see that we are actually seeing axis of the bones. So what we have to do is rotate it 90 degrees alongside Y, and we want X to be pointing towards the front of the vehicle and Z to be pointing to the top. So we can rotate it alongside X. We have to change it in the bone, single bone properties, and change the roll. So now you see it's all set up properly. So that's all. We have to now make bones for every single wheel. So just extrude alongside X-axis, select one bone, the other bone, Alt P, and disconnect bone. And now our bone is disconnected and with the same position of the axis. So just make by Shift D the copy for every single one. Now we have to align them with the wheels, so we have to move them to the center of the wheels. We will do with the Shift S to cursor and like this. So what we have to do is go in object mode, then click the mesh, edit mode, select one vertices of the wheel, Ctrl L, Shift S, and move the cursor to select it. Now object mode, select the bones, edit mode, and Shift S, selection to cursor. So that's the basics. Okay, so it's all good. Now what we want to do is get this to the middle. Check if we have the origin of the mesh in the middle, origin of the bones in the middle. It's all set up properly, so that's good. Because those are two things you want really to care about. If the origin is in the middle and if the axes are pointing towards the right axis of the views or anything. So just like this. There is one more thing that I've actually modified the code of the Blender, so it won't spawn another bone. You didn't actually create it, because when you export it, Unreal will see another bone called root bone in the origin. So I post a link to the video as well. GeoDev made it, so he's saying everything about it. But even now, Unreal thinks that even this armature is a bone. You'll see later when we export it and import to Unreal. So now what we want to do is add weight. So add some influence of the bones to the mesh. So select the bones, Control Tab, or just choose pose mode. Select the mesh and Control Tab, or just go to weight paint. Now we want to select the bone. Actually, object mode. Sorry, I fucked up. You want to parent them. So click the mesh, click the bones, Control P, and with empty groups. So now what I said: pose mode, mesh, weight mode, weight paint. Now we apply the weight, so this bone will influence only the car body. So we can do this by enable this masking mode, select the face, Ctrl L, and you want to untick this, so you can apply influence even to the faces we can see. I'll show you. Now when you apply weight, you can't apply it to this face because this is unticked, but when you do this, now you're applying even to the faces you can't actually see. So with masking you will only apply to the selected faces, and with this little box in here unticked you will apply then to the cross whole the car. So that's it, out of the masking mode, and that's it. Okay. And the last one. Okay, it's all good now. So get out of the weight mode, click the bones mode, and we can try. So if there is no vertex behind, we applied it well. That's what we wanted. So that's good, and that's good as well. Okay, now you see that in Armature we have our car body and vertex groups. That's why we parented them. You can change the name of the bones, but I don't really care now. So when you want to change the names before you parent them, so the vertex groups will stay the same name. So that's actually it. So now you want to go to object mode, select the mesh, edit mode, select everything and press Ctrl N to recalculate normals. So it will show up properly in our Unreal. Select everything and rotate it alongside z-axis 90 degrees. So it's pointing towards the x positive, and you can find out by moving it, and you see in here that we are moving to the positive x, not to the negative x. And that's basically it. Now you select the mesh, we'll assign some material. Okay, base. And that's one thing. Another thing is smoothing. You see when we enable smoothing, it looks really like bed, so there is a little trick to do so. When you go in here and check out to smooth, you choose the angle of smoothing, so it will smooth only the faces where angle between them is less than 30 degrees, so it looks really better, it looks nice, or actually better than before. And the other thing is, we won't create any UV set for this because we don't apply any textures, but it's really there are a lot of tutorials on how to do this, so I won't cover this. So the last thing we want to do is apply location and apply rotation, but to the whole, so you have to select everything and do this, so the bones will have this location and rotation applied. So that's it basically. So select everything, export it, FBX, selected objects, that's all good, X forward, Z up, Armature mesh, geometry, face, Armature, add leaf bones, uncheck, creations, tutorial. Okay, export it. And now when we import it in here, like this, just blank project with starter content, so it's really nothing, but my computer is kinda slow. It's a really old computer, just so you know. Okay, that's it. So the import options are like this. Wait, why is it so slow? So we want to import it as skeletal, so we want to have this checked. Use the always reference pose and import normals and tangents. That's all you have to do. We don't have any animations, but when you do some animations, you want the bones to be pointing same as we did here. It always have to be the same, so it won't be like weird or anything. You see no errors, just UV set because we didn't create one. So we just wait for shaders to compile so you can see actually what I'm doing, because when they won't, you wouldn't really see anything. So that's the first half of our video. I'm really sorry for my accent and I'm not like speaker or designer or programmer. I'm just really curious about these things, and as I said, I couldn't find anything on the internet, some video where they are doing it properly and functional, and they didn't have like car already rigged and stuff like this, so the half of the job is done. So I just want to do it like this. Also sorry for the quality of the video, but when I changed the recording quality, you wouldn't see anything I'm doing in Unreal Engine because it could not record. It was like 1 frame per 1 minute, because I have really like slow computer, guys. It's so bad, but it's all I can afford right now. So that's it. We have everything set up. So our skeleton, you see, this is the thing I was talking about. Armature was not a bone in Blender, but Unreal thinks it's a bone, so this is what caused like some troubles, and that's it. So go to physics asset, and you want to delete the physics body for the armature by pressing right mouse button and delete, and nobody there. So now we want to do basically the same stuff that in the Unreal Engine overview vehicle setup was doing. So we just set it up. This is what I want. Okay. Okay, this is what we want. We want to scale it down. If you don't know how to do things, this just simple hotkeys. It's shown up in here. So it really doesn't matter the physics body of the wheels, because now it doesn't know it's wheels, but when we tell them it's wheels, when we tell to the Unreal it's wheels, it will create rays, not physics body. So change this to kinematic, and that's all we want to do in here. So we can actually rotate it a little more. Okay. So save. Now we want to create blueprint wheeled vehicle. Select my car. That's good. Open it up and select the skeleton for our pawn. And here we go. It's all in here. Now we want to add, like, we can go step by step actually. We can create game mode, blueprint game mode, basic game mode, and the only thing I want to change is the default pawn class to my car. Compile. Now we can add new level. so we can actually drive details, scale it up a little. I just want actually 10 by 10. Okay, and now in world settings we want to change game mode to our game mode. Now you see, we hit play, we are actually in the world now, so we want to go up to our my car and add camera. There is one more thing. When you are creating your car in Blender, you want to measure diameter of the wheels, so you can add it in here later. I'll just do it now just by eye, but it's really important to get it right, so the wheels will be on the ground. So let's bring I'll show you of course later. Viewport, get it up. That's good. Okay, now at camera, parent it to here and 0, 0, 0. So that's it. Compile and play. You see now we have the view. Now we can edit our input. So project settings, input. Let's create some axis mappings. We'll call this forward. It will be W. Add another one. It will be S. Scale the opposite. Another. It will be right. And D. And A. And it will be opposite. So this is input all set up. Now we want to tell this car, so we can move event graph actually. Let's find our inputs, forward, axis events. Here we are. Right, axis events. So here we go. Set throttle input. And set steering input. Okay, we can get rid of these. Connect, and here we go. Compile, save. Now we have to actually do things in here, so go to vehicle movement, search, write W, and let's call, we have to add the names to this, so we have to actually open our skeleton, and it should not really matter, but you should add like first the front wheels and then the back wheels, so bone 01, and so this is the bones of the front wheels, 01, and bone 04, and this will be what's left, 02, and the bone 03. So it's always better to add front wheels the first and then the back wheels. I don't know why, this is just how it came up. So now when we hit play, okay, it's really bad as you can see. So what we want to do, we want to add blueprint wheel, like a vehicle wheel, select, it will be, oh sorry, rename, it will be front wheel, make a duplicate, back wheel, and here we want to change the diameter later when we find out what it will be, but just for now we want to change in back wheel the steer angle to 0 so our back wheels won't turn. So we have to check it once more. Bone here, not bones but bone, and bone. Okay, compile, save, and oh, actually this is what we want. We want to say which vehicle or which wheel is front and which back, so we just created our blueprints, just assign them. So now when we hit play we should be able to drive. Yes, we are. So I just changed the angle of our spring arm to 90 degrees. You see that there is no animation and our wheels are in the floor, so we have to change our radius of our wheels. Like when I did it last time it was 42, so I can remember. When you model them, always when you're still in object mode, check the dimensions of the wheel. It's really the best way. That's why I'm doing it in object mode and then joining them together. So now it's better but not the best. Now we want to add animation, so do animation blueprint, vehicle anim instance, our skeleton, okay, anim, open it up, and this is very simple, just mesh ref pose, disable this, and this is what we want. Alt click to break the link, and right wheel handler for wheeled vehicle, and just do it like this, and that's it. Compile, we can quit it, and here in my car blueprint we want to add this animation. So that's it. Our wheels are turning, our car is turning, so everything else are in tutorials. So this is just how to get it working from Blender to Unreal. As I said, it should be everything understandable. If not, you can always write in the comments to ask some questions. I will answer if I can. So thank you for watching.